What's up, y'all? One and only. You know, I'm not some fucking knight in shining armor. I'm not some perfect, happy, have it all figured out person. And I'm not here claiming to have all of your fucking answers. Only you can do that. Okay? If that's anything that you pick up from this whole for entertainment purposes video, some might ask, where I have the room to talk. Well, the simple fact that I'm not going to waste my breath explaining that part to you, I think that says enough. Um, Anybody who knows me or anybody who doesn't, maybe you're just meeting me. Take a look at where I was this time about, 7 years ago. And pick your, favorite artist or your favorite follower, your favorite preacher, your religious figure uh, that you seek in these times for the answers. And notice all the answers that they brought to you, all the talking that they've been doing for years, over a 7 year span. Let's see where they were 7 years ago and where they are now. Okay, they didn't fall back. Sure, that's great. But are they still in the same place? Does the high octane, you know, of exhaust spewing from their mouth match with the gas miles? You know what I mean? Like, have they actually gone anywhere? Now, me, again, I'm not going to talk myself up, but even if it's not in reference to myself, through observing, when you sit and you observe, you don't have to ask questions about people. You notice that a lot of people end up saying everything they need to say about themselves without even mentioning themselves. It's funny. Now, me, I feel that I've been quiet and I have listened to these different people say they have it all figured out for so long, while I slowly connected with everybody who felt alone, through my music, through simply just being transparent, saying that I don't have confidence, but saying that I will be here. These were affirmations I didn't realize I was making to myself. And I'm helping you make those same affirmations when you sing my lyrics. That's the mirror. That's me being the mirror. And if what I say makes you uncomfortable, bro, that's why I know I have room to talk. Because I'm a goddamn joke. I've been picked on, I've been called out since I was a kid in school. But I turned that pain or that embarrassment, that stage, into a place for me to perform. Like, I'm fucking funny because all the words that people say I find amusing. And words is one of the fucking greatest and most disastrous thing that humans ever came up with. I miss man. You heard a lot more in a grunt than you ever did in somebody's fucking 423,000 goddamn word paragraph essay lecture whatever. You know what I'm saying? My point that everybody, again, I don't have the fucking answers here, okay? I'm gonna talk from my place. And if you understood where I came from, like it it seems it would seem unsurmountable. It just would not make sense that I'm able to, let alone put the sentences that I'm able to together, but be here in real time and still have the motivation to try to connect and hear others out rather than trying to force a narrative or steer them in a certain direction. I hear them out and then I use that mirror perspective to speak in a third person about myself. I used to do this unintentionally and I always ended up like accidentally offending people because they'd be talking about something that somebody did to them, and that's fucked up, blah, 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 right? So I'm filling in, I'm fully engaged in your story as if I'm in the story in your shoes. So I would say something like, right, like I did this, and then you would say something like that, that's fucking disrespectful. And they'd be like, what? I didn't say anything disrespectful to you. I did blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, 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 I was talking in third person. I'm sorry. So I've always thought that way. Like, I don't see separation, guys. Uh, Even though you're quick to separate me from the conversation the minute I try to enter, only because I see a bunch of cultures, a bunch of, you know, linguistics, a bunch of laws, a bunch of historic facts and claims all being thrown at each other, in an attempt to claim a dominance, or some sort of higher authority or higher level of knowledge over everyone else in the chat. But that's so stupid because ignorance is bliss, right? And it wasn't until I went through some of the mistakes that I had to make before I knew how to not make them. You see what I'm saying? So I know that mirror perspective is important, especially when reflecting back at someone that I see in my shoes of a past life that I'm familiar with. That pain, that confusion, that loneliness, or even the arrogance. I'm not going to repeat that same fucking arrogance. I'm not smarter than anybody. You know what I know? I know that I don't know what is going to happen next. I can predict, I can create in my 7-day chamber, and then at the end, I can sit perfect with that confidence that I know what I made is perfect. That's an affirmation. That is the imagination's pantheon. That is you being the reflection of God. Take all the facade and all the power around that word out of the context. Everything that you know, or everything you even feel when you hear me say God, those uncomfortable, that tensity, all that shit, that is all based off of something that you received externally. That's not some voice that appeared from inside you. That's not your inner soul. That's not your God who said, oh, don't say that. Those bad things, you'll go to hell. No. Somebody sat you down when you were just a little sponge and malleable and said, these are the rules, and if you don't follow them, there's a bigger person, a higher authority, a higher power who will reset you in your place. So you spend your whole life walking over eggshells as you talk, as you share belief, like it's a fucking. Jesus said, the temple is inside. Seek me. Go inside. That's the same thing Neville Goddard talks about. You go inside and you imagine the feeling. You imagine what you want to create. It's so much down to the detail of the feelings, the sensory, the inner feelings that it would be to have that knowing already there. And then you leave it there and you know that it's true. You are the universe reflecting back at itself. So you remember the movie Epic? Like whenever they got shrunk down, the dad was all, oh, that's you here right now. The world is your monitor reflecting, has a little bit of a lag. You ever touched a fucking hot stove? It takes a minute for you to react up here and move your hand. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. It's so simple. And it's the only way to experience it, the only way to figure it out, the only way for you to know it wholeheartedly, and not feel the need for me to keep reassuring you, for you to keep returning to me, for something that you already have within you. That is what it is. We are all on our own journey. We're all on our own experience. Mosaic art, it's abstract, right? I don't mean to flex, right? We're all broken pieces. God holds the broken closest to his heart. When you are weak, I am at my strongest, right? When you allow yourself to be weak, to be vulnerable, to be broken, to be present in those emotions you try to run from. God, why'd you forsake me? Then you realize the one set of fucking footprints that always carried you. And you stop asking why they did what they did. And stop thinking that this is something that happened to you as punishment or something that you deserve or, still resenting but mourning the loss of that person who did you dirty. You're not that experience. You're not that hurt. You're not what you've been through. You are the person right here who went through it. The same one who didn't think they could, but the same one who showed yourself that you would carry yourself through it regardless. Just like that breath that doesn't need you to acknowledge it. You are chosen. Why? Because you're fucking alive. Universal. It's all harmony, right? Frequency. Us all living in different dimensions in a different verse, a universe, the Unicode. The Unicode is us understanding that we are the creators of our own individual reality, but understanding that we are connected to every living thing. We are made in his reflection. He created. He was an architect, a carpenter, you could say, right? With his right hand, finger fine blueprint, sovereign soul, blue. The water is red, the sea of emotion. The flesh is weak. Just be present, endure, and you will learn who you are when you do this. You already have learned what you are capable of and who you are before. We forget. We want a problem. We want, a protagonist. We want somebody to blame. We want a problem to solve. But we don't have to. We become the why whenever we stop trying to solve for that X. Crisscross Adam's applesauce. Don't mourn in the rising of our sun. Sit in the evening, right? Emotions come alive when the world goes to sleep. Be awake. Be blessed. Be kind. Be you. Thank you for listening to me. Stay present.